But in those days, when it was coined for the first time in the year 1880, as I have told you, it was referring to the geographical space where French is spoken. More of the geographical space, I told you, most of the colonial countries in the African continent, they have their language either of communication, either the administrative language, either or of the language of education. Uh, I mean, in one way or the other, they will be using the French language. Next. Next slide, please. You see, what is Francophony? Francophony is an international language movement. It is a movement. And now, the present definition which has been given to Francophony, it is a language movement led by the government as well as the non-government organizations. It is not the government which pushes the idea of Francophony, but there are non-governmental organizations also which is celebrating this event as a Francophony week or Francophony day. Francophony is referred to a movement, language movement in over 30 countries where French is an official language or used by a significant population. It is an official, as I have told you just now, it can be an official language in the sense the language used in the office. And it can be a language of communication. People speak in the language. And it can be a language of education, wherein teaching is being imparted in French language by a significant population. Maintenance and extension of the standard spoken and written French language purified of unacceptable English language borrowings. They try to maintain the purity of the language. That is one of the agenda for Francophony, as I have told you, to maintain the standard French language spoken as well as in the written format, which emanates from France and which has been carried to the other parts of the world where French is taught, French is spoken, French is an official language, French is read. Maintenance and extension of French as an official or co-official language, and what all the support system that they can give to maintain and to extend to preserve the French language as an official or the co-official language. Those are all the main the definition as well as the main motives of Francophony. Next one. Next slide, please. What is the aim of Francophony? The main aim is to promote French language and cultural and linguistic diversity. Not only the language, but the cultural diversity, the linguistic diversity also. I think you can understand the Tamil which we speak in Chennai is not the same Tamil which is spoken in Nagarkoil, or it is not the same which has been spoken in Thoothukudi or in Coimbatore. So the linguistic diversity is there. Even though French has been spoken in France and in many countries, we will see the list of those countries, there is a linguistic diversity. We talk about Indian English, we talk about American English, the British English. So there are various diversity in the English language, even in the English language which has been spoken. In the same manner, in the French language also, there is a diversity, not only the linguistic diversity, but also there is a cultural diversity. Because as I've told you, most of the African countries, they have French as the official language, language of communication, language of education, etc., etc. So each country is different from the other culturally. Each African country is different from the other culturally, and to maintain, to preserve, to promote the linguistic and the cultural diversity, this Francophony is striving for, not only for promoting the language, but also for promoting the cultural and linguistic diversity. Promoting peace, democracy, and human rights among the Francophone countries. I told you many of the Francophone countries are from African continent, and promoting peace among those nations, promoting democracy, the democratic values which is coming from France in those countries, and the promotion of human rights in those countries. Supporting education, training, higher education, and scientific research. France, it contributes a lot for their language, for the promotion of their language, for the maintenance of their language, and for the maintenance and the promotion of the cultural diversity by way of supporting education in those places. I think you could have seen in your institute also, you have an a section of Alliance Française. A section of Alliance Française. Alliance Française, it is a French government organization supported by a French government organization, wherein their main motive is to promote French language, French education, French culture. And you have your own in your own place. And part of the funding comes from the headquarters, France. By that way, they are supporting education, they are supporting training. If I think you, madam, would have also gone for some training which has been offered by the French government. It is not agencies in India that they offer by French people also. Now they are offering it virtually, promoting higher education. If you wanted to do your higher education in France, they support, and you can do your higher studies in France. And for the scientific research, expand cooperation for sustainable development among the countries which are members of Francophonie. So there is cooperation among the members of the Francophone countries. These are all the aims of certain aims, the main aims of the Francophonie. Next one. Yeah, what is the motto? I think you can see Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie. The main motto of the organization, the International Organization of Francophonie, is equality, complementarity, and solidarity. Equal, treating every country as equal, and complementing the other country, and being united, the solidarity, united. I think you can understand. Even our country's motto is unity in diversity. There is diversity among the among the Francophone countries, particularly in the African context, as I have told you. And you also know about the American continent, the North American, particularly the North American continent, wherein there is a big province, a very important province, Francophone province, which is Quebec, which is called as Quebec, wherein French is the language of communication. In the people, the mother tongue is French for those people, and there is a complementarity between the countries, and there is an union which is developing among the Francophone states, and that is the motto. Next one. Yeah, when it started, as I have told you, because I was referring to colonial countries. India is a member of the Commonwealth. India is a member of Commonwealth. Okay, and what happened after the decolonization? Decolonization is colonization is occupying countries and making countries as colonies. Decolonization, it is the reverse process. Like in India, giving freedom to the country, giving independence to the country, and vacating those lands and going off. And the political leaders who emerged from decolonization of French Africa, particularly in the 1960s, because most of the countries were decolonized during this period, during the period of 1960s, after 1960s, because we had the Second World War up to 1945, and the after effect of the Second World War was also there. And later, the people, they wanted independence. Most of the colonized countries, they wanted independence, and they slowly started to question the colonial supremacy, and the people started to fight for their freedom. And after the decol, slowly one country after the other, they got independence from the colonial clutches. It is not only for French, even for Great Britain also it was the same case, and even for the Spanish colonies also it was the same case. Most of the colonial powers, we have 3 4 very important colonial powers, particularly from Europe. You have Great Britain, you have France, you have Portugal, you have Spain. These are the countries which colonized most part of the world, and they have divided, because the Asian countries, they were colonized by the British. The South American continent has been covered by the Spanish. The African continent is taken over by the French. Like that, they each and every colonial powers, they try to concentrate on certain areas. So they wanted to expand, the political leaders, they wanted to expand institutional and functional cooperation within the Francophone world. So they cannot cut the ties that they have established for quite a long time from the colonial powers. So they wanted to expand their institutional and functional cooperation from the Francophone world, particularly from France, and their relationship with France started to develop, but not as a colonizer and a colonized, but at the level of an independent country depending on their language partner, which is France, and sometimes it is the other Francophone countries, neighboring countries. With their newly acquired freedom, independence, and equality, they wish to create a new mechanism of consultation, cooperation, and whenever deemed appropriate, policy coordination at the political level. All these political leaders from the Francophone countries, they try to have consultation, they try to have cooperation, and they try to promote freedom, education, equality, liberty, and solidarity, as I have told you, and complementarity among their own countries. Such ideas were fostered particularly by these four men who were very, very important as far as the creation of the concept, the idea of a Francophonie is concerned. I told you it was coined previously by the geographer, French geographer Onesime Reclus, but the idea of unity has been proposed by these scholars. They are all writers. Léopold Sédar Senghor of Senegal, Hamani Diori of Niger, and Habib Bourguiba of Tunisia. These three people were responsible in the creation of a unity as Francophonie. Several African countries saw it as a way to expand their access to sources of development assistance, a mini North-South dialogue. North in the sense you have the European countries, South in the sense you have the African countries, and this forum of a Francophonie tried to establish a contact, a dialogue between the North and the South. Next. Next slide, please. International Francophonie Day, as I have told you, which is observed by the 77 member states every 20th of March to celebrate the French language and Francophone culture. There are over 369 million French speakers on earth. 369 million French speakers on earth. It can be their mother tongue, it can be their language of education, it can be their language of communication. And for us, language of communication is English, but English is not our mother tongue. So like that in African countries, their language will be, mother tongue will be different. For some people, the French is their mother tongue because there are tribal languages which doesn't have scriptures. Slowly, those Africans, they started to adopt the French language as their mother tongue, and they started to use that as their language of communication. Because African country, it is more of a small country wherein you have a lot of small tribes, and if you travel 50 kilometers, there is another language which has been spoken. And for every 50 kilometers, there is a new language which is spoken in the. They won't have a written format for their languages. So to have a common language, they adopted to French. And this has been accepted by the 77 member countries. And the number is increasing. This 365 million French speakers on earth, it is a very rough figure, and the number is keeping on increasing. And this Francophonie Day, they wanted to celebrate it, and it was decided to have this International Francophonie Day as the March 20th of March every year. It was decided in the year 1988, and there was a Niamey Convention in Niger, which happened on the 20th of March 1970, and to commemorate this, they have identified this as the date, and they have used this as a symbolic day to represent the spirit of Francophonie, and from that time on, they have started to celebrate this day. The convention, which was established by Agence de Coopération Culturelle et Technique, the precursor to the International Organization of Francophonie. I told you previously there were many organizations, and this organization, Agence de Coopération Culturelle et Technique, which was established in the year 1970, and later it was changed into International Organization of La Francophonie. And from the year, as I have told you, 1988, they are celebrating this Francophonie Day. And International Francophonie Day, as I have told you the definition, but here you can see There are even ministers of a Francophonie in the Francophone countries. Like we have a minister for Tamil language and culture in our state, in Tamil Nadu. We have a minister for Tamil language and culture. There are ministers for French language and culture. They don't call it as a French language and culture, but rather they call it as Francophonie, Minister of Francophonie, Francophonie Minister. And one such minister from Canada, Stephen Blaney, in the year 2013, he has said, Francophonie Day is to celebrate our commitment to not only the French language and the rich and diverse Francophone culture, but also the values of peace, democracy, and respect for human rights that unite all members of the International Organization of the Francophonie. What all the things that we have seen in the motto, what all the things that we have seen in the mission, in the aims of Francophonie could be seen here in the words of the then Canadian Francophone Minister Stephen Blaney. Next. Just now I told you, Le Monde de la Francophonie, it is the Francophone world. These are all the countries wherein French is spoken. You can see in Europe you have France, Luxembourg, Switzerland, and many countries, Romania, Bulgaria, and if you come down to the African continent, Mali, Morocco, Egypt, Mauritania, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, etc., etc., etc. And here on the Asian continent, you have Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And if you go to the Canadian side, the American side, you have Quebec, I told you, on the top. And Canada, it is a Francophone country, Anglophone and Francophone country. Anglophone is English-speaking country, Francophone is a French-speaking country. And down below also you have the Caribbean countries. You can see Haiti, many countries. As I have told you, there are 77 countries which have accepted to be the members of Francophonie. Now, it is just to give you an idea of the French being used, French being spoken, French being used either as a mother tongue or as an official language, or of the language of communication, or of the language of education. There are French medium institutions in all these parts. Even in Pondicherry also, there are institutions wherein the medium of education is in French. In Pondicherry, even today you have. And we have certain documents which are still in French, and which are even given in French in Pondicherry. The birth certificates in certain parts, if you want an old birth certificate, they will give you, for maybe of my grandfather, of my father, the birth certificate will be in French. And there are people who prepare the French certificates. And the documents, now that we have the land documents, old land documents, which they have prepared before the independence, before the decolonization, when the French were ruling, all the documents were in French. Even now you can see the French documents in Pondicherry. So the French is not our mother tongue, but French was an official language in Pondicherry previously. The next one. Next slide, please. As I have told you, it is an official language in 29 countries, which puts it in the second place behind English, which is officially it has been. I told you 77 wherein French is spoken. French is spoken either as an official language or mother tongue or for any other in any other category. Those 29 countries: Belgium, Benin, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Canada, Chad, the Ivory Coast, Democratic Republic. I told you almost all the countries: Rwanda, Niger, Monaco, Senegal, Seychelles, Switzerland, Togo, Vanuatu, and French is also the language of the European Union. French is the language of the European Union. European Union is the 27 countries. They have come together, they have united together, and they have formed a European Union, the countries of Europe, and to promote their solidarity, to promote their economy, to promote their complementarity. The only language used for deliberations, the Court of Justice for the European Union, pardon, it is used in United Nations. It is used in European Court of Justice, and in most of the international agencies, organizations, French is used. French is one of the languages. It is an official language in other countries across 5 different continents. In all the continents, French is spoken. And it is also second most studied French language after English. The first language it has been studied is English, and the second most studied second language is French. The next slide. I told you about 300 million. It is not an exact figure because the number is increasing. Previously, we saw it is 369 to be more exact. The simple answer is about 300 million. It's not exactly, but this obscures a more complicated profile of the language. Within the 300 million are not only the native speakers but also partial speakers and the speakers of numerous French dialects and creoles. A creole is a sort of a dialect which is a mixture of the French language and the native language. Through colonization and diaspora, French is the sixth most widely spoken language in the world. So, the main languages which have been spoken in the world, the first one it is Chinese, Mandarin Chinese. The second is English. It is not English; it is spoken by most of the people in the world. So it is the Chinese, second is English, third is Hindi, because from India we have a lot of people who speak Hindi, and fourth one is Spanish. The fifth one is Arabic by the Muslim by the Arab and Muslim countries, and the sixth is French language. The sixth is the French language. Next slide, please. And où trouve-t-on le plus de francophones? You can see. Now, where do we find the francophone people? We have in Congo around 51% of the population they speak French, and there are in Switzerland it is 67% of the population they speak French. In Haiti, which is in the Caribbean islands, around 52%, sorry, 42% of the people they speak French, and you can see Ivory Coast and almost all the Algeria, 33% of the people they speak French. Morocco, it is 35%. In Germany, 15% of the people they speak French. Italy, 19%. In Canada, it is 29%. In United Kingdom, 16%. And in Belgium, 75%. In France, you know, it is 100%. In the neighboring country, Belgium, there are 75% of the people they speak French, and it is the official language of the country. Next slide. It is what is the projection? How far it is going to grow? According to a demographic projection led by the Laval University is a university which is situated in Quebec, and by the Réseau démographique de l'Agence universelle de la Francophonie, the French speakers will the number will approximately increase to 500 million people in 2025. 500 million and 650 million in 2050. The International Francophone Agency estimates around 700 million by 2050, 80% of whom will be in Africa. So 80% of the people out of the 700 million will be from the African continent. As I have told you, in Africa, many countries were colonized by the French, and it is because of that French is there in the African continent. Next. It is a language of culture, French. Why it has been promoted, why it has been read, why it has been accepted, why it has been followed, why it has been spoken, because it is a language of culture. Language of culture. International language of cooking. You know, most of the words that you have in the cooking language, it is in French. A la carte. To just tell you, and many words are coming from croissant. It is already there. Fromage is there. Croissant is there. Baguette is there. To just name just few. And it's a language of fashion, because you know Paris is the fashion capital of the whole world. It is the language of theater. Lots and lots of plays are coming from France. The visual arts, the dance, the architecture, the cinema, etc., etc., etc. You can add almost anything, because France is the cinema capital, fashion capital, theater capital, cooking capital, tourist capital. That we will see. Next slide, please. The language of travel. because France is the topmost tourist destination of the world. France is the world's top tourist destination and attracts more than 79.5 million visitors a year, more than its own population, more than its own population. The ability to speak even a little French makes it so much more enjoyable to visit Paris and all the regions of France and offers insight into French culture, the mentality, and the way of life. If you want to be in Paris, it's okay. You can speak in English and you can survive. But if you want to travel in the interiors of France, if you speak a little bit of French, and it's most welcome there. French also comes in handy while traveling to Africa. If you want to travel in Africa, if you speak French, it's very easy for you to communicate because instead of communicating, because they don't know English, they speak in French. In Switzerland, in Canada, in Monaco, in Seychelles, and in other places in the sense the Francophone countries. Next slide, please. It's a language of the job market. The ability to speak French and English is an advantage in the international job market. And the international job market, in the sense, even the Indian market, if you speak French, very good French, to have a A2 level or B1 level of French, you will be very easily absorbed. Instead of going for a bigger salary, the salary will be very good. The atmosphere will be very good. The place in which you are going to work it will be very good, and the incentives will be good. The promotion possibilities are very good because French is not our mother tongue, but we have lots and lots of French companies in India. You can see there. Knowledge of French opens the doors for the French companies in France and other French-speaking parts of the world, Canada, Switzerland, Belgium, and the continent of Africa. It is going there and working because Canada, it attracts a lot of migrants. If you want to migrate to any of the Western countries, we can very easily migrate to Canada. But if you know French, you are most welcome, and it's very, very easy to migrate to Canada. You can immigrate, you can become a Canadian national. The world's fifth biggest, as the world's fifth biggest economy and the third ranking destination for foreign investment, France is a key economic partner. It's a very important economic partner to most of the countries. It's the fifth biggest economy in the world. Next slide, please. It is also a language through which you can learn other languages. So if you know French, you know English, you know French. And if you know both the languages, it's very easy for you to learn Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian, and English as well. Since 50% of the current English vocabulary is derived from French. We will see what is it. Next slide. Nearly 30% of the English words in an 80,000 word dictionary. If you take a dictionary which contains 80,000 words, 30% of the English words are from French origin. At the beginning, we saw a slide wherein a lot of French words are used. Those words are also used in English. And how many words do English and French share? Around 30%, and it extends up to 50%. French and Latin words make up to 58% of modern English vocabulary today. The language which you are speaking today, those words, they are coming from either Latin. 58% of those words which are coming from either French or Latin. On their own, purely French words make up to around 29%. 30% I have put it on the top, and it is exactly 29% of the French words. In English, you have around 29% of the French words. Next slide. You can see in the English language, percentage of the French words in English. You can see Latin, it is 29%. French, it is once again 29%. The Germanic languages, the Greek contribution is there. And from unknown languages, it has borrowed and derived from proper names. It has taken around 4%. And this is how it has taken. Over 10,000 English words come from, and the number varies. And this is the combination of those of the English words that you have in a dictionary. Next. You can see the words. These words you could have come across, and all these words are from French. Like English, French has many Suffixes, a number of these come from Latin. These include ation, nation. For example, nation, it is coming from Latin. And you have these words in English as well as in French. You will have nation in English, nation in French. And for information in English, information in French. So the words with the ending suffix ation, nation, you will be finding it in both the languages, and they are sharing it. They are taking it. They are borrowing it from Latin. So these words come from Latin into French and they go to English. And TION also, acceleration, acceleration, attention, attention, attention. And the words ending in SSION, mission in English, it is mission, passion in English, la passion en français. And able, ABLE, the words ending in ABLE, capable, capable, table, table, adorable, adorable, and ISME, the words ending in ISME, impressionism, impressionism, racism, that E won't be there in English, racism and racism, and IFIVE, the words ending in IF and IVE, futive, 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 creative, 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 creative. So these are all just some examples to show that the link which is there between the languages and the importance of the French language and the use of the learning the French language. The next slide, please. Yeah, these are all the words which are coming from. I've taken some words: chancellor, council, government, minister, ministre, parlement, clergé, etc. All these words are coming from French. French words that we use in English, and we think that these words are original English, but these are all French words. It is just to give you an idea, an idea. I mean, these are all not the only words, but just to give you an idea. Next slide, please. Yeah, these are all once again the words that you will be using: amateur, cliche, the words and the more French words that you use in English in your spoken, the more flair that you have, the more attractive your language will be. So try to use more French words which are comprehensible in English, which are used in English, but which is not very common by an ordinary speaker. By an ordinary speaker, instead of saying coffee, if you say cafe, because the word coffee is coming from cafe. Montagne, café, lingerie, bric-à-brac, amateur, voyeur, hommage, silhouette, vis-à-vis, vis-à-vis. I mean, these words they are coming from Latin into French, and once again it has been borrowed in English. I think the next one will be the last slide. Yeah, let's see. So I would like to sum up what we have seen today. I've just introduced the concept of Francophonie, the importance of learning a foreign language, and I also have introduced about the origin of the word Francophonie, the motto of Francophonie, the aims of creating Francophonie, the people who have been behind the creation of this Francophonie, and how far Francophonie is being promoted and how far it is promoting the understanding among the people, the solidarity among the people, the unity among the people, and the unity which is there in the diversified culture. I told you also, like in the Indian subcontinent, we have unity in diversity among the Francophone countries. And the motive of a Francophonie is not only to preserve the French language, but to promote the diversity in the French language, diversity in the culture, and diversity in the among the people, among the people which is there among the Francophone countries. And I have also given you a gist of the words that we have been using. We don't have to think that there is no complementarity between languages. Languages give and take. The English language, as I have told you, Around 30% of the English words are being borrowed from the French language. And I have told you that. And whenever you come across these words, we can always feel proud that you are also associated with the French language and you are a part of Francophonie. When you speak bonjour, when you say bonjour, when you say merci, when you say au revoir, when you say à demain, salut, you are francophone, and you can always feel proud to be a francophone, and you be a part of the francophone culture, francophone community, and it is to promote the unity that we have. We are celebrating this week as the Francophone Week, which is going to culminate on the 20th of March as the Francophonie Day, which is celebrated throughout the world. And this week is being celebrated as the Francophonie Week. And today we are starting from your institution the celebrations. I thank once again the patient listeners who have been listening carefully, patiently, the small lecture which has been given by me. I thank once again the administration, the management, the department also for having accepted, given me an opportunity to present before you. I thank the students who have given the wonderful message from the Bible and the students who are involved in the technical aspects of the conduct of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for nurturing your with your motivational words. Over now to SEM of Rehabilitation Science, Miss Evangeline Monmadi.
Good morning, everyone. Ma'am, am I audible? Ma'am?
Yes, Evangeline, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Here is the Kahoot game, which we all know about the Francophone what Sir spoke just now. So the questions will be you will be given 10 questions, and the time limit for each question is 10 seconds, and it will be objective types. So I have posted the link for the game in the chat box as well as in the YouTube in comment section. So you can click that link and you could play the Kahoot game. And I also posted the game pin in both the Google Meet chat box as well as in the YouTube comment section. Thank you. And the students who are participating in the game, you are requested to give your name. For example, in the quiz, you are giving your name means don't give your entire full name. You are requested to give your first name and your department name, such as, for example, Evangeline Vanmadi. As my name is Evangeline Vanmadi, so I will be giving my name like Evangeline BRSC. So similarly, you can give your name like that. Don't need to write your full department name. Just an example like this. I have posted in the Google Meet chat box. So the similar way you can play the game and you can enjoy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, Evangeline.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So the
thank you.
winner of the Kahoot game is the first place goes to Amala from second BA English Literature and Sneha Immaculate. Second place goes to Sneha Immaculate of second BCA and Miss Taib, and the third place goes to Miss Taiba of I don't know the department, ma'am.
She is also from second BCMA.
Second VC. So congratulations, félicitations.
Congratulations to the winners. You will be receiving your e-certificates shortly. Thank you.
Can I stop
Thank
it
you,
now?
students, for thank you, students, for participating in this quiz. Congratulations, winners and contestants.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. When you focus on your gratitude, the tide of disappointment goes out. The tide of love rushes in. Now it's time to express our gratitude. Over now to the Joint Secretary, Ms. Amala Monica of 2nd BA English, to propose the vote of thanks.
Joy is simplest form of gratitude. On behalf of organizing team, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. My heart fills with gratitude for our eminent speaker, Dr. C. Tirumurugan, Head, Department of French, School of Humanities, Pondicherry University, Pondicherry, for sparing his valuable time in empowering us. Thank you all. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our Secretary, Reverend Dr. Sister Niranjana Anthony Swami, constant motivator, and our Principal, Reverend Dr. Sister Christina Bridget, for leading and inspiring us. Meticulous planning and execution is base for the success of the webinar series. My most sincere thanks to Ms. Hemalata, Assistant Professor and HOD of French Department, Holy Cross College, who has been supporting us in various aspects for the success of today's notable event. I also render my thanks to the organizing team and Ms. Kimberly Fandanas of Viscom, SCM of Viscom, and Ms. Evangeline Vonmadi, SCM of Rehabilitation Science, working tirelessly for all sort of comforts toward these online sessions. This vote of thanks would be largely incomplete without expressing my gratitude to all the faculty fraternity and students participants. Thank you for your active participation. If time is money, then today you have spent millions for us. I need to multiply thank you word 1,000 times to match it with your efforts. Thank you for your active participation. We look forward to see you in coming days. Thank you all.
Now we would have
our college anthem.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
Thank you all. Bye.